My daughter is starting with the company, so I need you to resign today. It's your last day." On the morning of the 20th, the president suddenly informed me that I was being let go. I was taken aback and struggled to find words. The 20th was when we paid our suppliers. While some payments were done via bank transfers for long-standing suppliers, I typically handled direct payments, which also served as a courtesy visit. "You look like you can head home right away. I'll give you the day off just for you, so please leave promptly." I was briskly pushed out from behind and the door slammed shut right in front of me. I didn't know where to begin to protest. My name is Emily. I joined this family-owned paving company right after high school and have been working as a clerical worker for 10 years. Or rather, I should say, I was a clerical worker until just now. There were about 20 employees, and when the former chairman was still president, the workplace atmosphere was excellent. It was a company that made you feel at ease. Even the chairman, who has since retired, used to actively engage with younger employees, and Catherine, his wife, would come in daily to manage various tasks until the chairman fell ill. Kelly, their daughter, was adept at both field and office work, and her husband, the site manager, was highly respected by the on-site employees. Despite being from the founding family, they never acted superior or looked down upon anyone. It would have been wonderful if this enjoyable and trouble-free company life had continued, but unfortunately, reality turned out to be less sweet than expected. At the end of last year, cancer was discovered in the chairman during the company's annual medical checkup. He made the difficult decision to retire as president, appointing Kelly's husband, the site manager, as his successor. Both myself and the other employees unanimously supported this decision, agreeing that the chairman should prioritize his treatment and wishing him a long and healthy life. However, unexpectedly, the chairman's eldest son, Tom, whom I had never heard of before, appeared with his family. It turns out the chairman had another child besides Kelly. Tom had been estranged from the family for about 30 years, a fact unbeknownst to me. According to senior employees, Tom had a troubled youth and was notorious for getting into trouble with the law. Whenever he caused problems, it was said that the chairman and Catherine would personally apologize on his behalf. After dropping out of high school, Tom became involved in multi-level marketing and other dubious activities, leading to his eventual disarmament by the chairman. Despite being estranged for a considerable time, Tom suddenly appeared one day, exclaiming, "Dad, I've been wrong all this time. Please forgive me," as he pleaded before the chairman. I was utterly taken aback. Working in a small company where the president's office and the clerical room were one and the same, I witnessed the entire scene vividly. Tom expressed his desire to reconcile and work together in the company, but I couldn't help feeling that such words weren't appropriate coming from someone who had been disowned. I apologized to everyone, but I implore you to consider giving Tom another chance. Kelly and the seasoned employees found it difficult to fully celebrate, knowing about Tom's troubled history. However, they couldn't turn down the chairman's heartfelt plea. As a result, Tom's family moved into the annex of the chairman's house, with Tom taking on a role within the company while his wife managed household duties as a homemaker. Their daughter, whom I glimpsed only once when she visited the company, seemed to be a college student. The chairman mentioned, after facing hardships in life, Tom must have turned over a new leaf. Catherine, too, was tearfully overjoyed at Tom's return with his family. They spoke optimistically about rebuilding the company together, but soon encountered an unexpected challenge. Tom insisted, as the eldest son, I should be the next president, causing tension with Kelly and the site manager. While putting on a facade of diligence in front of the chairman, Tom actually did very little. He frequently made demeaning remarks like, "Manual labor is for the workers, and we're all like worker ants, silently toiling away." Unsurprisingly, he quickly became unpopular among the staff. Some younger employees even approached the chairman directly, saying, "I can't work under these conditions." However, both the chairman and Catherine begged them to be patient, promising to talk to Tom and asking for a long-term perspective. Then, due to stress or other factors, the chairman's cancer suddenly worsened, leading to his hospitalization 3 months ago. It was at this critical juncture that Tom declared himself president. Employees advised Catherine and the chairman to uphold the original plan of appointing the site manager as president, but ultimately, they chose Tom, their own flesh and blood, over Kelly's husband. This decision caused murmurs of discontent among the staff, with some accusing them of being blinded by parental favoritism or senility. Consequently, the once harmonious and joyful atmosphere of the company underwent a stark transformation. descending into tension and awkwardness. As everyone realized the situation couldn't persist, Kelly began taking action quietly alongside the site manager behind the scenes. As a result, tensions began to escalate. I found myself solely responsible for the company's administrative tasks from that point onward. Previously, Catherine Kelly and I could manage our workload efficiently, allowing me to leave on time. Now, however, I'm working overtime every day, often leaving well past the expected hours. It's not uncommon for the date to change before I finally head home. Meanwhile, Tom appears to view administrative duties as leisurely. The president spends his days frequenting hostess bars, betting on horses, or gambling, I heard from others. My relationship with the president deteriorated significantly over an expense issue. He had been using the company's credit card for personal dining and entertainment expenses, which I had overlooked to some extent in the past. This time, though, it crossed a line I couldn't ignore. Bracing myself for his reaction, I handed back the receipts. This expense cannot be approved. What? Why? This is your wife's corrective underwear. It has nothing to do with the business, so it cannot be expensed. Predictably, the president's face flushed with anger. Don't toy with me. She's the president's wife. It's only natural for her to dress well. It's an expense. But it's underwear, and your wife isn't an employee. I managed to reply, astonished that the president could consider a $4,000 expense for his wife's corrective underwear as justifiable. What he said next left me even more bewildered. Then let's turn the sale of corrective underwear into our new business venture. That way it will count as a purchase and therefore an expense. The president looked smug, as if he had just struck gold. But I was left speechless. We're a paving company. How would that work? Tell clients if they don't buy from us, we'll cancel their contracts. They'll all buy, we'll make a fortune. $2,000 for one, $4,000 for a set. It's easy money. The president burst into laughter, but I was appalled. That's completely unacceptable. That would damage our credibility. In my frustration, I lashed out at him, and from that moment onward, I became the target of the president's contempt. Every day thereafter, I endured constant criticism and berating from him. It became so unbearable that I often considered resigning. However, driven by loyalty to the chairman who had always supported me and concern for the company's welfare, if I left, I persevered. The truth was, losing my job suddenly would also spell trouble for me. I resolved to endure it until I could make a graceful exit, but then I was summarily dismissed. If I were to leave abruptly now, it would disrupt our client relationships, I said firmly, taking a deep breath as I opened the door. I cannot do this. Quitting without proper notice would leave everyone in a difficult position, including your daughter, who isn't equipped to handle the workload. Besides, today is the day we make payments. I delivered these words in one breath, fully anticipating the president's furious reaction. As expected, his face flushed red with rage. Shut up. I already told you to resign because my daughter is joining the company. Today is your last day. Regarding the payments, let them wait until they come to collect. There's no need to pay them in advance. Excuse me, isn't it standard practice to pay for goods and services once you've received them? I responded, bewildered, trying to simplify it as if explaining to a child. But the president's next remark was so irrational that I couldn't believe he was speaking like a rational adult. In that case, just threaten to switch to another supplier. Tell them we won't make the payment this time, so they should give it to us for free. What? That's not something we can do, is it? I was so stunned that I struggled to find words. You're completely worthless. My daughter has a college degree. She can handle office work effortlessly. Being family, she won't question my purchases like you do. All talk and no action. Your presence is unnecessary in our company. Leave immediately. In essence, the president seems to believe that by assigning his daughter to handle accounting, he can easily pass off personal expenses as business expenses. Is that so? Just remember, I won't regret this. Words are futile now. My patience has run out. I swiftly gathered my belongings and hurriedly left the company. Yet I couldn't shake my concern for our clients. Knowing Catherine was occupied caring for the chairman, I called Kelly despite her busy schedule. It was urgent. I briefed her on the situation and entrusted the rest to Kelly. After leaving the company abruptly, I suddenly found myself with plenty of free time. Being terminated without notice was a clear violation of labor standards. If I reported this to the labor office, they would be in serious trouble. Thankfully, our company was part of the middle company payment system, which meant I could claim severance pay and 1 month's salary. This system supports small and medium-sized enterprises that struggle to provide severance pay independently. I didn't need to rush since I had up to 5 years from my retirement date to apply, and the Labor Office's statute of limitations was 2 years. With my professional habits, I meticulously planned the necessary procedures and decided to take it easy for at least a week. Having worked overtime and weekends constantly lately, I hadn't had time for anything at home. There were many places I had wanted to visit once I had settled down, so I chose to take a day trip to the beach for some relaxation. After rejuvenating myself by the sea, I checked my phone, which I had left in a locker, and noticed several missed calls, emails, and voicemails. I opened my email to find I saw a message from Kelly, assuring me that the payment had gone smoothly, and everything was in order. A wave of relief washed over me. Despite the abrupt demand from the president to resign, I couldn't shake off the guilt of leaving in anger. Next, I listened to the voicemail left by someone from the company. It was the president sounding panicked, demanding answers. What's going on? Are you saying I'm not the real president? Did you know about this? Explain yourself. Has he finally realized what a clueless president he is? I couldn't help but smirk to myself. After that, I systematically checked through my emails and voicemails. Among them, I listened to a voicemail from the chairman and immediately decided to head to the hospital. When I arrived at the chairman's hospital room that evening, Catherine was already there, and to my surprise, the president was also present. Upon seeing me, the chairman greeted me abruptly from his bed. "Emily, I apologize for my foolish son," he said sincerely. "What's going on here? I'm the official president. Explain yourself," Tom arrogantly shouted, clearly misunderstanding the situation. However, the chairman quickly silenced him. "Quiet down. It seems that Kelly contacted the chairman and Catherine right after I called her," I explained. Upon hearing this, the chairman directed his attention to Tom, addressing him as the president, and asked, "Do you really not know anything? What's going on?" I calmly explained to the president, who was shouting without understanding the situation. "In essence, Tom, you had no legal authority. Your role as president was merely titular. This might seem confusing without context, but president is a position within the company, not a legally defined role. The individual responsible for representing the company externally with legal obligations is the representative director. This is entirely distinct from the president's title, which can be changed freely within the company. Changing the representative director requires complex procedures and is quite cumbersome. 3 months ago, when it was decided that Tom would assume the role of president, there was significant opposition from Kelly, the site manager, and veteran employees. To resolve this, I proposed a method to appoint Tom as a figurehead president while retaining the chairman as the representative director. As someone familiar with company procedures and laws for my clerical role, I devised this approach. If Tom showed genuine commitment and earned the respect of all employees, only then would we initiate the formal legal procedures. However, if Tom proved unsuitable as president, the contingency plan was either his dismissal or the company's closure, with Kelly and the site manager preparing to start anew. Kelly had doubts about Tom's ability to change. The chairman and Catherine had unwavering faith in Tom until my unjust dismissal seemed to awaken them. If you aspire to be an entrepreneur, educate yourself thoroughly and prioritize your employees. I emphasized this many times. Isn't it straightforward now? Shall we proceed with the procedures? No, it's impossible. Our company offers stocks to employees who want them, and most have taken advantage of this. Emily owns 10%, making her a major shareholder. We can't disregard her opinions, and the other employee shareholders certainly won't side with you. As the situation sank in, the president's face grew pale. What? Do I have any stocks? None. I intended to give you my shares once you truly prove yourself as president. I'm deeply disappointed in you. You were only after my wealth, thinking I had little time left, weren't you? The chairman slumped in despair, and Catherine fell silent, her face clouded with sadness. Brazenly, the president retorted, "Ha! Of course, I'm the eldest son. What's wrong with taking what I can get? The company is mine." I couldn't forgive him any longer. No, that's not correct. The chairman holds full responsibility as the representative director of the company. Additionally, as a shareholder, I can request a shareholders meeting and seek your dismissal as president." The word dismissal made the president's face rapidly pale. "You mean I might get fired? Damn. You're just an office worker, Tom," I pointed out. "Emily is right. Now that things have come to this, no one will support you," the chairman affirmed. Catherine then spoke up, her voice filled with regret. "Emily, I truly owe you an apology. I'm sorry for the trouble caused by my love for my son. Please tell me what you would like to do." I looked directly at the president. "I don't want to work under you anymore, so I'm quitting immediately. However, I will take my severance pay, and I expect my 1 month's salary, including unpaid overtime and holiday work. I will report this to the Labor Standards Office, and as a shareholder, I will fight to remove anyone harmful to the company." As I smiled and spoke, the president's face went from pale to completely white. I continued, explaining how Kelly had been visiting clients and successfully promoting our new company. Most clients had decided to switch to the new company, and nearly all of our employees were planning to move as well. "That's impossible. I'll sue you," the president threatened, almost in tears. But the chairman dismissed him. "I am the representative director. You have no such rights." The president, overwhelmed, collapsed to his knees. I felt a complex mix of emotions. "Mr. President, it's a shame it came to this. If you had changed your attitude when you returned, things could have been different. There were many opportunities to learn and improve, but you squandered them all. This is a classic case of reaping what you sow." Eventually, the chairman decided to close the company, leaving Tom unemployed. The president's wife attempted to sell corrective underwear, but it didn't sell at all. They were reported for aggressive door-to-door sales and were eventually arrested for running a pyramid scheme. When Kelly returned to her parents' house for an errand, she found several boxes still filled with the unsold corrective underwear. Their daughter found employment at another company, although the details remain unknown. I now work at Kelly and the site manager's new company, and I am happy every day. I want to continue to cherish my relationships with people and live sincerely.